Seven. The keys to the snowcat? Oh, the keys they give Jack at the beginning of the movie.
Hello, Danny.
Hello, Danny.
Oh, hi, naked lady. Yo, see, is Artemis pissed at me?
Dude, I'm pissed at you. You've never seen The Shining.
Jack, I'm sorry. I had to do it. There's something wrong with you, and I had to lock you in.
Wendy, open the goddamn door.
I'm sorry. I really had to ask home.
Wendy, listen to me. Let me out of here, and I'll forget the whole damn thing. Wendy, listen to me. Let me out of here, and I'll forget the whole damn thing. Can you do it with your head down? Yeah. Well, that's not bad.
Now, it's not the script. I've given it to Philip. He's going to mull over it, you see. And would you like to mull over it?
I'd love to mull over it, Junior.
You're not even...
No. I mean, I have some time this evening.
No, the thing is, this won't...
I wasn't planning on doing anything from between midnight
No, what
and
I'm trying
2.
to say is that's not the real script. It's just
This
an
is
idea
just
of what you do.
an idea to get started on. Very good. Filmmaking. Get these things. We make it up as we go along.
I can't even get this door open. For a person so charming and so likable, indeed lovable, he can do some pretty cruel things when you're filming. Because it seemed to me at times that the end justified the means.
Here's Johnny.
It was a very difficult role. It was a long shoot, and I had to cry and hyperventilate and carry a little boy and run, for most of the time we shot. And that was about a year, a little over a year. And anywhere between 30 and 50 videotaped rehearsals before we even rolled film. I wouldn't trade the experience for anything. Why? Because of Stanley. And it was a fascinating learning experience. It was such intense work that I think it makes you smarter, but I wouldn't want to go through it again.
It is a way to isolate time, isolate
experience, look at something carefully.
Whenever you come in here and interrupt me, you're breaking my concentration. You're distracting me.
Of course, there's a big difference between writing a novel and writing for the screen. We heard more than one tale of writers unhappy with what adapters had made of their work on TV or film.
I think that it's still possible to scare people in a really honorable way if they care about the characters.
Did you like Kubrick's film of The Shining?
No. Cold. I'm not a cold guy. I mean, I think one of the things that people relate to in my books is there's a warmth, there's a reaching out and saying to the reader, I want you to be a part of this. And with Kubrick's The Shining, I felt that it was very cold. Shelley Duvall as Wendy is really one of the most misogynistic characters ever put on film. She's basically just there to scream and be stupid, and that's not the woman that I wrote about.
Did you talk to Kubrick about it?
I met him on the set. I was over in England, just out on that one meeting that I thought that he was a very compulsive, almost like anal man.
I don't suppose they told you anything in Denver about the tragedy we had up here during the winter of 1970? I hired a man named Charles Grady as the winter caretaker. From what I've been told, I mean, he seemed like a completely normal individual. But at some point during the winter, he must have suffered some kind of a complete mental breakdown. He ran amok and killed his family with an axe.
Well, you can rest assured, Mr. Ullman, that's not going to happen with me.
That's right.
Mom, do you really want to go and live in that hotel for the winter?
Sure I do. It'll be lots of fun.
The only thing that can get a bit trying up here during the winter is the tremendous sense of isolation.
Is there something bad here?
I fear you will have to deal with this matter in the harshest possible way.
I believe that I killed you and Danny.
You did this to him, didn't you?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains. Here's Johnny.
Toronto, Cannes, Berlin, and Sundance, everybody chat about. Good movies, chat about. Good movies, chat about. Good movies. Good movies. Good movies. Oh, hello, and welcome once again to the Good Movie Chat About, where we have good chats about good movies with good guests. I am once again Bobby, aka Lord Gugu, and I am joined this week by two guests for the first time ever. Two guests on this show. I am joined by, up top here, you may recognize him from his many movie theater bathroom selfies on Blue Sky. It is Greggy, and then below him, you know, from being a great Twitch streamer in his own right, Mitch's Tiki Hut, and similar, and so forth. And I also know him as being my second BugCon roommate to guest on the stream, BugCon 2021, I should say. It is, of course, How Intensive, Mitch, and Greggy. Welcome to the stream. Welcome in, guys.
Thank you. Wonderful to be here.
And
absolutely.
Off the top, should I just say why you wanted to guest together? Do you want to just like break this news? Because this is big news.
Yeah, we want to break this news. Do you want to say it, Mitch, or do you want me to say it?
Well, it's official.
It's official.
We're doing a podcast.
Wait, another podcast? What?
Another podcast exists now for you to listen to.
Believe it or not, this is my first. This is my first podcast.
That is surprising, Mitch, that it's taken. Yeah. That you are just now starting a podcast.
I know, a little late to the party, but I think it's a perfect time. Never been a better time to start a podcast.
And what's the premise of this podcast?
Well, okay, you know how you're from a state?
Uh-huh.
What state's that?
The state of Catatonia. No, just kidding. That's
That's pretty good though.
That's
an American state.
No, I am from the state of Maryland.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not as good. Nope. Nope.
Michael Robotam, a podcast is sort of like, it's like a radio show that you can get on your iPod. You have an iPod, correct?
Yes. Yes, an iPodcast. Yes.
Yes.
Now, your state has a shoreline, right?
Yes.
Now that shore, the water on that shoreline, it's salty. Is that correct?
Ew. No, it's not though. Really, is
There's
it?
we do have a bay, but it's very polluted. Though it's getting better.
I believe that water also has sharks.
The sharks do get into that bay as well. Yeah, they get in there.
Well, our podcast is about the only state with a whole bunch of shoreline that is 100% salt-free and shark-free. That's right. It's a podcast about the state of Michigan.
Wow. Yes. Pure Michigan.
We're the only state that can say that. We're the only state that can say that.
Unsalted and shark-free. Yep. Isn't that funny? That should be on a hoodie.
You are shark safe. You've been marked shark safe in Michigan, no matter what.
Yes.
I'm really excited. I did because you guys let in on this, and I was telling my wife Abby about this. Travels, who's in the chat, she was very excited. Her mom's side of the family is all from Michigan, and she went to school in Michigan. She went to Kalamazoo, so she has a lot of affection for Michigan.
Yeah, I feel like a podcast about Michigan. I mean, it's just another state, right? Well, not so fast. It's shaped like a hand. But also, people that are from Michigan have a real affinity for Michigan, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That is very unique of other states. I think, actually, you as a Maryland guy, I think, like, you guys love your flag.
Well, there's people that, like, I think there's people that love Baltimore, being from Baltimore. But, yeah, you don't see so much the, like, Maryland pride. More so, Pennsylvania gets that a bit more than we do. I think maybe.
Yeah. I feel like people from Michigan. There's a lot of weird things that we do. A lot of very Michigan specific things.
Detroit pizza.
Absolutely, but the cool thing about this podcast, I'm from Lansing, Greggy's from Flint, so it's like there isn't the big city bias to it. It's like medium cities,
Exactly.
Which is because we don't want to get too up our own asses about Detroit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's so much to Michigan. I mean, for one thing, the big thing that Michigan will always have to brag about, in my mind, is that everyone got so excited when Sufjan Stevens started his 50 states project. And everyone's like, I can't wait till he gets to my state. Well, guess what? Only 2 states actually got it. And Michigan was first. And it's great. That one's it gets overlooked a bit because of Illinois, but the Michigan one's also quite good.
Yes. As a college radio guy, Michigan State, that was definitely a point of pride for us right around 2010-ish era. But also that, along with the Streetlight Manifesto, 99 Songs of Revolution. Remember that? They only had 1 record. That's also another very large project that fizzled out. Speaking of large projects that might fizzle out, we're doing a podcast.
Yes, you can actually. I think right now you can go on to Spotify at least. I can't speak to the other Apple iTunes and whatnot. But you can go to Spotify at least and search for Yes Michigan with Mitch and with Greggy, and you can find a short introductory episode just to kind of give you the feel of what to expect from our podcast coming up.
That's awesome. Yes, Remover, Michigan. Good friend of the stream, Remover, says they're from Canadian border town and have family from Michigan and spent summers there in Detroit, so they understand that Michigan is a weird, lovely place.
Yes. And it's all good. We are kind of pointing at things and laughing a little bit, but remember, we're allowed to point and laugh.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's our mitten. Yeah. We can point at the mitten.
Yeah. I mean,
can we? Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say there is some darker edges, of course, to all of the Midwest and all of the country, I should say. But of course, I mean, I will say that I do have my cousin just had to move from Michigan to Chicago because she is trans. But I just wanted to be somewhere where she felt a little safer. But I mean, but she did love Michigan. It's just trying to get where she felt safer.
Yeah.
I mean,
and she was
so
more out
far,
there a
we're
bit,
just,
I think. Not like
yes.
Right.
Yes. Greggy, do we wanna clue him in on what the theme for our first episode is?
Oh, should we? I don't know. It might be a little bit too much. Do we? But the chat has been very, very good so far, I think.
The chat's excited for Michigan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let me. Can I give a preview? Can I give a preview?
You can.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Can I read a preview? Can I read a preview?
Do it.
All right. Let's find a good one here. Okay. A friend and I were bow hunting in October of 2000 or 2001. We found the area we wanted to hunt the day before. We hiked into the woods together. He chose a spot down by the creek overlooking a small swampy area. It was down a deep ravine. This was in Wexford County, by the way. I continued on further down the path and found a spot and sat down in the tall grass. Neither of us had a tree stand. I had sat down for a couple hours and was awaiting the time my friend and I call crunch time. That is the time when the wind usually calms down and deer start to move. Off to my left, I could hear what sounded like an animal moving very quietly. I'd like to add that where I sat, there was a small hill between me and the spot where I had hoped to ambush a deer. This animal kept quietly rustling about, and I moved from a sitting position to a crouch, getting ready to shoot. All of a sudden, a very large tree started to shake violently, and whatever this animal was, let out a roar/scream that scared the hell out of me. I could see up into that tree and I saw nothing in the tree. I could not see the bottom of the tree as it was obscured by the small hill. I immediately got up and ran all the way back to the truck. When I arrived, 2 DNR officers, hey, Michigan people know what that is. Those are Department of Natural Resources.
Oh,
They
okay.
were waiting to probably check our licenses. One of the officers was a male and the other a female. The officers questioned me why I was running. I told them what happened and also told them that my friend was still in the woods. One of the officers unsnapped his holster but did not pull out his gun. At this time, it was dark. We walked in the woods looking for my friend after a short walk. We could see his flashlight. The first words out of his mouth were, "Did you hear that thing scream?" He elaborated that immediately after the scream. 2 deer ran through the swampy area at full speed. We all walked out of the woods together with the officers instructing us to leave. They didn't even bother checking our licenses. Well, it's because you didn't shoot anything, moron. They were at a loss to explain what had happened. I have since bought a trailer down the road in Manistee County, and I'm in the area quite a bit. Looking back, the thing scares me the most is the fact that this powerful animal was very stealth until it wanted me to know it was there. The area also has a legendary creature known as the Dogman. And this is from BFRO.net, the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. That's right, our first episode is about Bigfoot in Michigan.
That's right. Michigan Bigfoot.
Yes.
I have a question. Is Michigan spotted? I mean, is a Bigfoot spotted all across Michigan? Is it like also in the UP? Does it swim across to get up there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one from Detroit.
Okay.
I have one in the Detroit area. I found one in the Detroit area. It is kind of funny looking at Bigfoot reportings. I see like Michigan has 226. That's quite a bit, right? But then like Minnesota has only 81.
Yeah.
What about like Wisconsin?
I don't know. They need to work on their like tourism board for Bigfoot. I think because they're not doing so good. They need to make it more attractive to Bigfoot. In Minnesota.
Yeah, they need to do a Bigfoot campaign, I think. Does Harry and the Hendersons take place in Michigan? I'm trying to bring it back to movies now, or connect it.
Harry and the Hendersons. Let's see.
Because I was also going to ask you guys if you have favorite Michigan movies. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Grosse Point Blank, which I recently rewatched.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course, all the Michael Moore ones have.
Oh sure.
Oh yeah.
Roger and Me is really, really good. Which I mean, you're in Flint as well, Greggy, so I'm sure that has special significance.
Yeah. I think my favorite Michigan movie, and this probably is not a Michigan movie, I bet it's a Wisconsin movie, but it might as well be a Michigan movie because all through my life I thought it was a Michigan movie, is The Great Outdoors. John Hughes comedy with Dan Aykroyd and John Candy.
Yeah, it might as well be, right? Because, that's another thing I know about Michigan. Like, actually, the job before the one I currently have, my boss at that job had a
home had a vacation home in Michigan that they were regularly going to. Like that's a popular spot to have, you know, a house on the lake or whatever, what have you.
Yeah, it's a scenario where they're both Chicago area people, right? So like they could be going to Wisconsin, they could be going to Michigan. It's very vague. So I mean, I bet canonically there is an answer, but it's Michigan.
It feels like a Michigan vacation, and it might as well be because that whole Midwest.
It's not really a Michigan movie, but Coraline always makes me think of it because Coraline, she has a very cute Michigan accent because they had moved from Michigan.
Moved from Michigan.
And the dad is famous. The famous picture of the dad, the meme picture of the dad on the computer. He has his Michigan State sweatshirt. And I had my Michigan State placemats from for dinner. That's right. A lot of hot dogs. It's gonna be great.
I had one of my good friends in high school, who's still a friend of mine. His parents went to Michigan State, and they had a golden retriever named Sparty.
Of course, as one does.
Yeah. Speaking of pets, how is Boo? I have to ask about how Boo is. Mitch.
She's over there. She's sleeping. She's by the door. She wants to go outside, hang out on the porch for a little bit. We hung out on the porch for a little bit, yes, she was a little baby when we were when I went off for BugCon. Now she's a little bit larger.
Now she's a full lady. That's so sweet.
Yes.
I do love Mitch's cat Boo. Anytime that there's Boo content, I get very happy.
Yes. And Travels did a lovely drawing of her.
Oh
a
yes.
while back.
And
I love it so much.
And everybody should hit up Travels about having her draw something for you.
Yes, she will draw your pets. Pay her to draw your pets.
Yes, she does.
Great.
She does great work. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a anchor link here. Let me pin that. There you go. So I'm pinning that link to their first episode, everybody. That's so exciting.
Spotify
episode 0.
Sweet.
Episode 0.
Oh yeah, right. The little preview.
Greggy, I'll be the first to ask. I have Podcast Addict. Can I get your podcast on my podcatcher app?
I think you should be able to with that RSS link. I do believe so.
At some point, I'll get my act together about putting these on there. They're just on my YouTube. I need to actually see about putting the audio on those. But that's now I have like over 25 of these. Now it's too much work.
Right.
Yeah, I've been saving the streams from my stream like as like highlights, whatever, you know, and it's. I don't know. You have 2 weeks to do it. I still forget sometimes, and like I think I'm running out of time for it as well. Like actual I have a finite amount of like hours I can have saved, so I have to figure out a solution for that.
So, Mitch, you'll appreciate this. So my last show that I did that you'll remember, the Musical Theater is Good Actually, which was I did in 2020 and 2021. I was good about saving each of those VODs and stuff and having them locally saved or whatever. And then I fell off at a certain point. And actually, that certain point, the first episode that I failed to save, and then everyone after that I also failed to, was the episode with Evan Susser, where Evan Susser actually came to my home because it was when he was in Maryland.
Oh my God.
And he was in my home. It was a great episode. We talked about Godspell. It was really funny. We did a whole bit where we pranked everybody that he was like the video call was going out, but then he was actually in the home, and it was a whole thing. Anyway, and then that's gone. My episode with Alana Johnston, that was gone. All these like really cool people. So anyway, I've been good about remembering to save all of these. I mean, I immediately publish to YouTube as soon as it's done, so that way it saves it there.
Yeah. You're gonna want this one saved for posterity once our podcast goes global. Our little podcast
where they broke the news.
Global. Yeah.
This is I mean, I expect a CNN news alert actually to come to my phone about new Michigan podcast announced.
Yeah. Greggy's ass is going to be covered in champagne.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about movies a little bit, I guess. Well, I guess we started about the Michigan movies.
Yes.
I mean, I guess there's some other ones like this. There's the movies about like Motown or stuff like that. Like the Cadillac Records, I guess, was the one with people were like, "Oh, Beyonce really can't act." I think that was the movie where people were like, "Oh yeah, okay." And then there's the movie Detroit, but I haven't actually seen that.
I thought Beyonce had her moments in Goldmember.
Oh sure, well that's that was a good usage of her because it was like you almost don't want a good actor.
Just
same
be
for
a
Heather
star,
Graham,
be a star.
right?
Yeah.
Now let me ask, what was the last movie that you guys saw besides The Shining? If it was The Shining,
I saw The Strangers 2 on Friday in the movie theater.
Okay,
I didn't really like the first one.
so much, and you went to see that. So, Greggy, I also went to the movies last night, but I saw One Battle After Another. I have a feeling it was a little better than The Strangers 2.
Right. Yeah. No. I do plan to see One Battle After Another. I just didn't want to see. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes or something like that.
It is pretty long, yeah.
And I wanted to do a shorter one because I need to get home to get dinner done. And I remembered the first one ended in a cliffhanger, and I was like, okay, I'll go check out the second one, and I'll see how it ends. And the second one ends on a fucking cliffhanger. So
they got your ass again.
They got my ass again. It is so fucked up. I'm sorry. I hope I'm allowed to curse.
Absolutely. Mitch, what about you? What was the last movie that you watched?
Last one I saw in theaters was Naked Gun. I guess there's a similar theme. There's a similar thread here, but last one I saw in theaters was Naked Gun. That was awesome. That was really good. We were accidentally in the wrong theater to start for the previews, and there's it was like a horror movie that was on at the same time. So I'm just like, wow, this is supposed to be a really funny movie, but all these previews are about these horrifying things. I'm ready to laugh, and then I kind of thought about it, and then I realized, I think we're in the wrong theater. But I think the last movie I actually did see, I think I was sick a week ago, and my go-to sick movie is The A-Team, 2010.
The 2010 A-Team with Bradley Cooper and
Liam Neeson.
And who's the Mr. T in that?
Quentin Rampage Jackson.
It's not like a UFC fighter or something?
Yep.
Okay.
MMA's very own Quentin Rampage. He's actually very fun in that. He does a good job, yeah.
And who's the old guy?
Hannibal. Hannibal is Liam Neeson.
Oh, right, okay. And is that District 9 guy in it too?
Yeah.
Charlton Copley?
He's the wild card character.
Right, okay,
Yes. And he is not all that recognizable from District 9. Even though District 9 was a year earlier.
Yeah, it was his first big movie after that.
Yeah, he's good. What's he done recently?
He pops up and stuff. I think he'll still do whatever Neil Blomkamp is doing. But I've seen him in other things. I've been like, this guy looks vaguely familiar. But oh, okay, it's that, because he kind of will sometimes remind me of what's his name from Flight of the Conchords? That's not in Flight, but he's the manager, Murray, and he's also in Our Flag Means Death. They aren't even that similar, but sometimes I mix up their faces or something, and it's New Zealand and South African, which aren't really that similar. Besides, they talk funny, but in different funny ways.
I think the vowel replacement on those accents are very interesting. I've watched a lot of the Guy Montgomery's Guymon Spelling Bee from Australia. The episode with Tom Walker on it is very funny.
Oh yes,
yes. But he's from New Zealand, so he has a couple very odd vowel replacements in that. So
yes, you'll notice it when you have a call that has both Chibley and Tom and Demi on it, and then you can hear the slight variations between Australian and New Zealand with Chibley. The Chibbler. So I saw One Battle After Another last night, and just go see it. I don't know, that's what, just see it in the theater, because it was really fun on a very big screen. And I'm not a person. I'm not a person that's you have to see. I mean, sorry if this is sacrilege to you, Greggy, but I mean, I do like going to the movie theaters, but I'm not a person that's you have to see every movie at a movie theater. I think there's lots of movies that work just as well at home.
Yeah, I mean, I think what happened to me was I just got on Movie Pass.
Yeah.
And it broke my brain. And now I just love to go to the movies and see whatever stupid thing at the movie theater. And it's helpful that I have a movie theater that is like I can walk to within about 20 minutes. And it's very cheap as well. Like a matinee is like $7 there. So it's like I go to a lot of movies.
That makes perfect sense.
But I also, I do really love the movie theater. I do think a lot of movies are highly improved by seeing them in the theater.
Yeah, no.
Have you ever been? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no.
Have you ever been in one of the bathrooms and you're just like, I can't take a picture in this. It's too messy.
Not so far. I think that would kind of add to it in a way almost.
That must be a testament to that staff. Good job to that
Actually,
staff.
I have a very funny movie theater bathroom story, now that you mention it, where, so, like, I guess it would be 10 years ago, Abby and I went to see Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, with Michael Keaton, and we actually quite liked it when we saw it in the theaters, and we we're coming out and we saw it with like at a weekend matinee, and it was a very older crowd. Like there were a lot of people there that were like in their 60s and older, and they were we were all kind of staggering out after the movie, like what the fuck even was that? And I'm in the bathroom, and there's like a old guy in there. It's kind of like seems like he's lost, and then he wanders out as I'm coming in, and then I come out, and Abby relays to me the interaction that she just had with that same man that I saw, and he went up to her and he's like, "Did you see that there Birdman?" Like that, like it was like it was the Old West or something, and it was like, "Do you see that there Birdman?" And she was like, "Yeah, I was just seeing that." He's like, "What do you think happened at the end? Did he die?" And she's like, I don't know. And then he was like, "Wow," and he just like walked away. Yeah, and just walked away into the night. And I was convinced that it was like viral, like guerrilla marketing for the movie. Like they were hiring older actors to go see the movie and have weird interactions with people outside.
He's a crisis actor.
Yeah, I mean, because there's like the whole part in one of my favorite parts in Birdman is when he's like wandering on the streets or whatever, and there's like this homeless guy that is doing the soliloquy from, is it Macbeth, where it's like the tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing or whatever, and he's doing the whole thing, and then and then as he's like walking closer to him, the homeless guy who's been doing like this really overwrought performance like breaks out of it and then just goes right to Michael Keaton. He's like, "How'd you think? Was it too much? Was it too good?" He's like asking him for notes. So it's kind of how it felt. Anyway,
that's very funny.
So every time now, that's like still the movie theater. That's where we went last night. And I should add that I bought my tickets, and I texted my good friend Harrison, who has been on this show a couple times now, and he is also AMC Stubbs Insider or whatever, and walking distance. He just moved a few months ago to a place that is walking distance to this movie theater. So he's been seeing like same thing, like whatever crap, just because I don't know, I just want to go see the movie, and it's like you wouldn't see it otherwise. But I texted him and I was like, "Yeah, I just got my tickets for it tonight." He's like, "Wait, 7 p.m. at the where we going?" I'm like, "Yep," and it was great to run into him there. So when I saw The Fall Guy, a man told me it might be his new favorite movie, and he went and shook hands with some of the staff.
Thank you.
The theater staff.
That is so funny. It's like like applauding for the pilot when you land, except for the projectionist. Like, thank you, great job.
What movie would I do that for?
I might have done it for One Battle After Another, man. That thing was great.
Yeah.
It was just so. What I'll say for it, I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything, but the reason that I was just so blown away was that it maintained such a high level of tension and like action entertainment, as well as like it's funny the whole time, and you're like constantly, but at this, you're like really tense, but you're also like, this is funny, but also like, oh shit, I'm really like, invested in these characters at the same time. So, yeah, everybody see it. The highlights of the trailers I want to shout out. Well, I'm again, this is a very Abby centric episode, but I'm calling out her favorite trailers that we saw yesterday was. Well, first of all, the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer got her so excited. She's so excited for Mortal Kombat 2. Have you guys seen any of these trailers?
No, I have not. I've missed it.
They are centering.
I saw one for I think a Street Fighter 2, or is it Mortal Kombat 2?
Probably...
Does it have
Carl
what's
Urban?
His name? Carl Urban in it.
Yeah,
well, that's Mortal Kombat.
I would love to see a sequel to the Street Fighter movie, by the way, with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I mean, I'm down for any Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Me too.
Yeah, Raul Julia's last performance, like a brilliant actor,
famously, yeah,
was very sick while he was making it. No, but Mortal Kombat 2 stars Carl Urban as Johnny Cage, and he is, but it's like washed up Johnny Cage, which is a really fun take on that character.
I love it. When that's like the long distance sequel afterwards. Like I really do feel like that is the way to do it. Like Creed kind of took care of that as well.
Sure.
Rocky's kind of done, but he's now coaching or kind of getting the next generation going. I think that works well in that format.
Yeah, no, and Abby pointed out correctly afterwards that it's like Johnny Cage in any other context would be annoying to be the protagonist of the movie. Like typically you'd want him just to be like a guy that gets his ass kicked because he's like a hot shot or whatever. He like thinks he's the shit. But I think it seems like they're making him the protagonist. Anyway, it has such, because I was I had high hopes to be entertained by the last Mortal Kombat they did a few years ago, and it was really disappointing. But they have such great cast, like they have both Hiroyuki Sanada and Toranabu Asano, two of the leads of Shogun. They're both in it. But anyway, the trailer was great. And then the other trailer that got her really excited was that they're doing a Chainsaw Man movie. And there was on the big IMAX screen as people were coming in and getting seated, just like, it was so loud, and it was these gigantic, like, violent anime visuals, just one after another, and, like, the loudest soundtrack, and I was just, like, cracking up at all the people trying to find their seats as, like, they were getting assaulted by, like, this anime violence and sound. It was amazing.
That's really funny.
Anyway, that was my trip to the movies. I'm going to be talking about... One Battle After Another a lot more. Certainly when I'm getting to my annual Bobskers next spring, the Bobskers. I definitely expect. I expect that the one Battle After Another crew are they're going to be busy. They're going to be going to all the award show. But let's see what else. What is the next movie that you're looking forward to seeing? It doesn't even have to necessarily be a new movie, but like what are you looking forward to putting on or going to see next?
I missed Nobody 2, so I really want to see Nobody 2.
Okay.
Yep. I realized the other day, I'm like, oh, I never went and saw Nobody 2. I gotta go watch it.
I think a lot of people skipped that one. I really loved Nobody 1, so that's kind of my movie, my A-Team 2010 that I put on from time to time is Nobody. That or that Indian movie Kill, I put that on a lot as well.
Oh, I need to see that.
Yeah, but mine, of course, you probably hear this a lot lately, is Avatar 3. That's the one I'm most looking forward to right now.
Oh, yeah. And I'll say that one of my big disappointments in the previews last night was that we did get a Avatar Fire and Ash trailer, but it was the old one, not the one that just released a couple days ago. I was really hoping we'd get because that new one is super good.
Yeah.
It has lots of cool stuff. It has like Kate Winslet's character like putting a spear through a spider mech underwater.
Ooh.
And
Yes, I need to see that.
yeah, there's lots of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Fire and Ash. We were walking out last night and we were all like so like hyped up on how good the movie was, and I just turned to Harrison and his group of friends that he went with. I was like, yeah, but Fire and Ash is gonna be every bit as good as well. And I mean it.
It's one of those anticipation events where you're like, you see the poster on your way out and you're just like, yes.
Yeah. I mean, like, just watching all the trailer. I mean, like, seeing The Way of the Water was one of the most magical movie going experiences, because actually, like, the day that we went and saw it, Abby and I literally just watched the first one immediately until like I timed it so that as soon as the movie was over, we would get up and leave, go to the... So we, like, watched the very first one, and then we're like, all right, let's... And the way that movie ends, too, the last hour of that movie is fucking dynamite. I know that people have issues with the story and all kinds of stuff in it, which is fair, but the final battle is so good, and so we were, like, really hyped. And then Way of the Water blows the first one out of the water. So
right.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, I got cheated a little. I just got like an extended trailer for Way of Water for the re-release next week, before Strangers 2.
That is a bit of a
like
tease.
Weird.
I mean, all right, I'll take it, but I can watch that at home.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's and it's not like it's like a re-release of like a movie that came out, like an anniversary movie. It's just like, hey, we're gonna show this in theaters again because it did really well. Like, hey, check this out. It's not gonna hype anyone up, you know?
Right.
Like when they were putting out that, like, you know, like Stars Episode 3 was coming out on re-release, because that was when I saw on re-release. It was awesome. Like, yeah, seeing that trailer, you're getting hyped for that, right? You're like, oh, I gotta mark my calendar. But, you know, yeah, this movie that came out a couple years ago, I don't know if I want to see it again.
Actually, I'm sorry I keep talking about the trailers I watched last night, but the funniest trailer that I watched last night was the very first one they showed. It had the Fathom Events logo, and then it was a whole thing that was like the Devil's Rejects, the like 20th anniversary of the Devil's Rejects, and they started to show that, and then it just abruptly cut off like 15 seconds into it, and they just started the next trailer. And what was so funny was you heard the whole theater just go, okay, yeah, that's fine. I didn't want to watch that. Like, everybody was like, no, I don't, no, that's nobody was upset.
Got the re-release of Eight-Legged Freaks.
Exactly. Yeah. Kangaroo Jack anniversary. Let's go.
I saw that movie for my birthday, by the way.
I remember, I think I like babysat my cousins or something. They had rented it, and I was like, "What the hell even is this?"
Jackie Legs.
Yes. Oh, Jerry O, let's go. All right. Let's get into the movie that I asked you guys to watch, because there is a lot to cover here. This is a bit of a big movie. So this week, just so you guys give the context of where this movie fits in my very important lore of my stream, is this month we've been doing Spooktember, which has been ghost story movies. We started with John Carpenter's The Fog, then we watched The Other, starring Nicole Kidman, which was so much better than I remembered it. By the way, the 4K of that did arrive, so now I do own that on the 4K disc because I loved it. I was really glad to revisit it. Last week I talked about my favorite Japanese horror film, Kwaidan, which was great. And now, this week, I think I think my favorite horror film, a lot of people would say one of the best horror films ever made, and generally one of the best films by the best filmmaker to ever exist, The Shining. Gentlemen.
Yes.
Wow.
How we feel about The Shining?
What a film. Yeah, it's incredible. Greggy, you start, man.
Well, Greggy, you have an interesting perspective, and when I suggested that, I was like, you know, I'm really kind of locked in on doing The Shining this week. Is that cool? And you were like, yeah, definitely. So give me your perspective here.
Yeah, I'm a Stephen King guy for sure. I've read all the Stephen King novels. I have not read his most recent one, but it is a Holly mystery, and I feel like it's okay to skip that. It's not a real Stephen King book, in my opinion. You guys probably don't know what that means, but it doesn't matter. But
Greggy
The Shining is one of his great novels, and I've read it probably 4 times, and I've seen this movie version countless times, many times.
Yes, same.
It's a great movie. Probably one of the scariest movies, I would say, and also one of the most dreadful movies. It's not just things popping out and scaring you, or just the tension of that extended kiss scene,
Right.
where he's kissing the scary ghost and then backing away from her slowly, and
she's rotting. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But so it's just all this dread building up all the time. And I read a lot of horror, and the dread is the thing that really gets you when you're reading a novel, because of course, I mean, I don't think you can be spooked by a spooky jump scare in a book, I think.
Right. Well, and that's like, to me, like the biggest thing with this movie is that it's in the visual medium. It's a movie, and it's the movie that definitely like conveys the like unsettling terror, like from the beginning. Like, I mean, like the music does so much, the camera, the way the camera moves and things like that does so much to add that level of tension to really bring you along with the terror of the movie. And I think like what you're saying about how it's like a dreadful movie is, I think that the horror at the center of it is like so much of what we think of as horror is like, the slasher that just like gets a random group of people and hacks them up or whatever, and that's like, it's Freddy Krueger in your dreams or whatever. But what the reality of violence and horror, in the world is that it's someone you know and love, right? That's going to actually, tends to be who commits violence against. And so to me, it's just making one of the most universal horrors that people actually sadly face, of like domestic violence, of an abusive father and husband, like just extrapolated to make it like a movie horror is so effective and good.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, okay, so I've seen this movie, I think 1 1/5 times. The first time I saw it was in high school. I only saw 1/5 of it last night. I lit up a little bit. I sat down. I probably got to I think I remember him riding around the big wheel, and then I woke up.
Okay. I will say I watched this earlier today, and I was also falling asleep at the final hour of it because I didn't sleep well last night. But I did watch it earlier this week as well.
I did make up for it. I watched the CinemaSins video. and what I
so now you know all the flaws.
What I'm going to say is Stanley Kubrick, they say he's an auteur. I would say he's an auteur because this filmmaker is certainly one to sneeze at. Because there are 76 CinemaSins there. And they even spotted them -5 at the beginning because it's a Stanley Kubrick.
Wow. Oh, wow. How generous of them. Wow.
Yes.
I'll tell you the other thing I watched this week is I did also rewatch for the first time. I'd only seen it once before. Room 237, the documentary. Yes. Are you familiar with that, Mitch?
Yes. I have seen clips of it.
Yeah,
yes,
which is it is a very interesting documentary. I think that most of their theories are crap. The people that are on there. There are a couple people that I think, like the person that's like, I think there's a lot in there about the history of the native, genocides of native populations. I'm like, yeah, sure, that actually is in the movie. Like, it's maybe not what it's 100% about, but you can absolutely extrapolate it or find the metaphor in Jack Nicholson's character and performance. I can totally get that. But then the person that's like, it's all about the Holocaust or about him faking the moon landing, those people are crazy. Those people are just crazy.
Oh, yeah. But what I will say is about this movie is just, I can't believe just how influential it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just the sheer amount of influence this movie has. Is this like the first movie to do the creepy twins thing?
Maybe. I mean, like,
maybe.
I'm trying to think if there's yeah, I know. Like, the only other thing I can think of is like the original like Children of the Damned is like all those kids are kind of like samey, but they aren't like twins, to your point of like and like sisters. But speaking of a movie that's influential, I have to ask you guys, because it's certainly the case for me. Did you see the Treehouse of Horror parody before seeing the movie itself?
Before.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Yep.
Oh, really?
I saw the movie first. I'm an old man for one thing.
Okay.
I'm in my 40s.
Well, I'm nearing there myself, so.
And when I was a kid, my mom didn't like us to watch Bart Simpson because he was rude.
Yeah.
And so I didn't see many of the Simpsons.
Which of course is funny now in retrospect to think about. There's no like family sitcom of the era with it where they spend more time in church than The Simpsons, but it's like the one that nobody was allowed to watch.
Yeah, there was a long time in my teens where I was allowed to watch South Park, but not The Simpsons.
That's really
because my
funny.
parents didn't know about South Park, and I would just change the channel if they started getting too raunchy or whatever.
I mean, yeah. That is great. That's really good. Well, then that makes sense. So actually, then I'd be interested, Greggy. So what was your reaction then when you finally saw? Because I think that's one of my favorite the Treehouse
really
of Horrors are so good, and I think that might be maybe my favorite.
The Treehouse of Horror version.
Yeah.
I have seen it, but it has not made a large impression on me.
Well, that's
I
fair.
can't think of any particular.
Especially when you're like the book and the movie, and you start there, and then it's like, well,
yeah.
But I mean, I have that experience a lot with, especially now that I've been getting more into classic film over the past few years. Like when I watched Rear Window for the first time, I was like, I was like, I kind of prefer the Simpsons ending. I like it better when it's like he was crazy, like he was paranoid and there wasn't actually anything going on. That would have been it's more satisfying.
I will say, like, as someone that saw the Treehouse of Horror before The Shining, right? I think the thing that was the most striking thing was that the Willie/Dick character, exact same story beats, basically. It's just like, oh wow, that actually did happen. It actually did go that way.
Yes.
He just got axed down immediately.
No, yeah. Which is funny because, and Greggy, this is where we can get into it, and I was reading just on Wikipedia to refresh myself earlier, the key differences between, of course, the book and the movie. I included a little video in the pre-show to reference that, of course, Stephen King did not enjoy this movie. He did not like it. And in fact, it was actually, I mean, we should say at the time, kind of seen as like a bomb, maybe. Like it got Razzie nominations for Worst Director and Worst Actress. Insane. Which they rescinded. This is the only Razzie nomination that's ever been formally rescinded, I believe. But they said they rescinded it because of how abusive that Stanley Kubrick was to her, which, I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't abusive to her, but I also think there's a lot of myth making on that about, like, Shelley Duvall did The Shining, and then she went crazy, never worked again, and, like, just was in an old lady in the woods, which is so not the case. Like, she actually had a lot of success after this movie. She did the Mother Goose. The storybook,
the Mother Goose thing,
which she, like, produced and was, like, making.
The mastermind,
Yeah, and she got lots of really great people involved.
Yeah. I've seen all those.
And how she, like, that's why I also included the interview from her, was that, like, it wasn't a pleasant experience. She didn't really enjoy her time, and she said she wouldn't want to do it again, but she's really proud of the movie and proud of the work she did, and like, was glad to have done it. So, like, you know, complicated feelings, but I think some people will sometimes be like, I hate The Shining because of how Stanley Kubrick treated her. And I think, I mean, I don't know. I'm a big... You can separate the art from the artist, especially when the art ends up like this. I don't condone, like, psychologically torturing your actors to get good performances, but, like, it's also insane to me to say worst actress to, like, some of the most, like, indelible screams of terror and, like, recognizable woman, like, actually thinking her husband wants to kill her. Like, wow.
Right.
But I mean,
and I would say if you watch the movie, if anything, she is underacting the insane situation that she is in, where she's locked away in this huge hotel with, you know, possibly crazy people running amok and bruising up her son, or maybe her husband is just insane because now he smells like booze somehow, and there's no alcohol in the place. Where did that come from? And he is like wants to kill me basically, and like. You're saying that's bad acting, that she's screaming and freaking out about that? It's insane.
I think that what it is, and then this is again about the book differences, is that what I understand is that Wendy in the book is a much more like capable, or not capable, I don't want like proactive, like and willful or whatever. Like whereas Shelley Duvall's portrayal of Wendy is seen as a much more like a pushover or like a weaker kind of thing. And I mean, and so that's why like Stephen King called it the most misogynistic portrayal of a woman like ever. And I think that kind of reveals something about himself, honestly, that like a woman has to be like, you know, like really rough and tumble. Like she can't actually show emotion. She can't like be affected, and be strong, because she does still succeed and get away, you know?
Well, I think what's being alluded to all in this movie is that like there's abusiveness all through, even before they even thought about going to the hotel. So like she is the victim of, you know, some bad stuff,
and she's starting from a place of like explaining that away too, right? Where she's like, oh, one time he didn't know his strength and he had been drinking, but oh, just like it could have happened to anyone. And it's like, and I love the doctor in that scene, and just the way that she's kind of like,
very
okay,
stern,
like okay.
I don't know. There were a few cinnamon sins in that scene, though. you know, there were 3 big Kool-Aid containers in the family kitchen. I think that's a few too many.
Did they mark as a cinema sin that when you first see Danny at the mirror and he's talking to Tony, and this is something that's in Room 237, and I really enjoyed being pointed out in Room 237, as they're pulling in on him, he has a sticker of Dopey on his door that's like prominently placed, and it's like right in the center of the screen as it's like zooming in on him. The last sticker you see is Dopey, and then after he's like, the doctor's like checking on him and he's like passed out or whatever, you see the door and the Dopey sticker is not there, and the Room 237 explains it as because he's no longer a dope, he's actually had the vision for the first time of the blood coming out of the elevator, and now he's like learned about some of what he's in for, and that's sort of what overwhelms him and passes him out.
Famously, I guess that was not in it, but there were some in one of the establishing shots. There were some helicopter blades visible at the very top of the screen. and in those overhead establishing shots, there's no glimpse of the hedge maze. Turns out the movie sucks, actually.
Yeah, Cinema Sins. If you notice, careful watchers will notice the Overlook Hotel layout does not actually like make sense. You know.
Well, that's one of the biggest things in Room 237 is the people who have mapped, like meticulously mapped. And one of the biggest thing that drives them crazy is the scene where Jack meets with Ullman, the guy who's like in charge of the hotel, and he's meeting with him in his office, and they're like, he has an exterior window that's like showing outside, but like it doesn't make sense for there to be a window there based on where it is in the hotel. Like the hotel doesn't make sense, and it's like, yeah, it's a movie set. I don't know.
Yeah, I will say that this was. I'm gonna read this verbatim from the CinemaSins because I'm like, yeah, this is kind of the fucking point of the movie, man.
That's what those end up being.
Yeah, he says, what the fuck is the hotel trying to do to Jack? At some points, it's appealing to his basic desires like boozing, sloth, and horniness. Then it eventually cuts to the old lady corpse, so it's also just fucking with him? And what does the old lady corpse, have to do with convincing him to kill his family? It's just like, that's kind of the point of the movie. Is
what do they want?
Like
they want like a little like animated like character, like the guy in the Jurassic Park animated DNA strand, like come in and be like, well, here's what this symbolism means. You see.
Although the one cinema sin that I do think might matter is when they are meeting, he does say that the girls that were killed were 8 and 10, and yet they are shown as like basically twins.
But I do think that
which that's a little
right.
but that doesn't ruin the movie at all. It's just like it's a little.
But
yeah,
also
like
they can, sometimes girls can be 2 years apart and just look really similar in age.
They can look very much alike. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's 8 and 10. Like,
as far as Stanley Kubrick goes, I wouldn't put it past him to mess up the layout of the hotel on purpose just to make it more unsettling.
Well, and that's what so much of Room 237 is.
Well, and right behind you, right behind you, the carpet, right, the tennis ball rolls to Danny, right. It goes down that line of black, but
this
then
is in the
next shot, it's that isn't there. They gave him a citizen for that, and I'm like, that was probably just too intentional.
No, it absolutely is, and I was really glad that I finished, because I only watched the first half of Room 237, then I finished it last night, and I was glad I did, because they talked about this, and I do think that was like an intentional, having that line go, and then like a different angle, and then all of a sudden that line's not there, and now Danny's like on an island the way that those weird carpets are. It's like, that's I do think he was aware that he did that, and I do think that he is messing with the continuity as like on purpose, but the main like thesis of Room 237 is people are like, Stanley Kubrick was at IQ of 207 and like one of the most brilliant people to ever live, so he wouldn't just make these like choices willy-nilly and blah 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 blah. And I think that like that's true to a degree, but I also think that like they're like grasping at anything they can. These are people that have just seen the movie a million times and are like creating their own headcanon that just like extrapolates on itself, and it's actually kind of cool, even though it's crazy.
Yeah, like the Native American thing, there are themes throughout the movie.
Yeah, it's in Colorado, which is like, that's, and it's it's on an Indian burial ground.
The music, like all over the place, it's everywhere. But the specifics where they're like, okay, and then this number happens to be in this scene, and that leads to this.
When you start analyzing the numbers, it's hard to not be crazy.
Like and it's like, okay, that stuff, I don't think that's really a part of what's going on. I agree with you. There is Native American stuff in The Shining, but I don't know about that. And then the other stuff, I think, is probably just even flimsier grasping.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing with, like, they'll, like, analyze the number of 237, right? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, 237. Because that's the important room, which, in the original book, I understand, was 217. And the reason they didn't do that is because the hotel that they used for the exterior shots, which is actually in like Oregon, I think, and like the overhead and exterior shots, they were worried that people wouldn't want to stay at the room if it was 217, which is a room they really had. So they made it 237, which is not a room they really have. And ever since the movie, Room 217 has been the most popular room. Even without that, so so they were wrong and stupid. But yeah, all of that, people being like reading so much into it, and it's just like they had to change it because they wanted to use that hotel for exterior shots, and that's what they wanted. So that's it. Like, and I think that there's a lot of stuff like that in movie making where it's just like sometimes, but that doesn't make it any less cool. That like sometimes there is just weird synchronicity or weird like coincidence that you find meaning in. I think that's valid. I think, you know, if you, the audience, finds it. One of the really cool things in Room 237 is the guy talks about doing a special screening at his local, whatever the theater was, I forget what city, where they superimposed the movie playing in reverse over the movie playing, like front and back. Like, so, you know, the regular way, and there were so many moments of like cool synchronicity in that, and it's probably totally coincidence, but it's still cool.
Yeah, just kind of the mark of quality filmmaking. You'll end up with interesting things in the same place of the frame a lot, or things like that.
Well, there's so much like cross-fading and cross-cutting and stuff, so there'll be a lot of that sort of lining up. Yeah. I mean, it's a trip. I want to talk about Jack.
And it is.
No, you finish it.
Well, just one thing about the hotel, that like the hotel being cool. It is cool that Stephen King was inspired by this hotel to write the book, and then they shoot so much of the movie with it. It's very
The
interesting.
Stanley
It's very
Hotel.
cool. Yeah.
But what's also funny though is I always hear people claim like a hotel as the Shining Hotel. They'll be like, well, this hotel that's like in Maine, like he was thinking about that hotel a lot too, or whatever. And this hotel, and this is where they went for some of the movie location, or blah 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 blah. There's like so many remote hotels try to claim the Shining, which is a funny thing to try to claim.
And then there's the line or Portland, Maine, or Portland, Oregon, for that matter.
Right.
And there we go. Yeah.
And one of them is in Oregon. One of the exterior that they use.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about.
I probably have to split right now.
Okay, Mitch.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for bringing in Boo.
Little guest here
Look
with
at
us.
that little girl.
Aw,
Boo.
Look at the little baby.
All right, Mitch. Have a great rest of your evening.
Yes, I have to go check out the soft launch of a tiki bar opening
That's
in
right.
Frankenmuth, which
Wow.
Greggy, we're gonna have a whole Frankenmuth episode.
Yes,
because that place
definitely.
is just.
I've heard of
Probably for
Frankenstein,
Christmas,
but
I would think.
Frankenmuth? What?
Yes, Little Bavaria. Little Bavaria.
All right.
Yeah, it is funky. All right. Well, hey, have a good one, guys. Check it out. I'm excited to do this podcast.
All right. Check you later, Mitch. Thanks for stopping in. So, Greggy, I want to talk about Jack Nicholson because I do think so many people focus on how Shelley Duvall's career changed from this movie, or like try to read into that. But actually, I feel like Jack gets internalizes this role and carries it with him in a way that I think changes like the types of movies he's doing. I mean, like he was always kind of, he could have like a hard edge, or he could be like he could be out there. I mean, I think One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was before this, and that's an amazing performance. My favorite 70s Jack Nicholson performance is The Last Detail. Have you seen that movie?
Okay. I've not seen that one.
It's really good. I mean, Jack Nicholson's like first like big like performance that like caught notice was in Easy Rider, where he's a supporting part in that, and he kind of plays like a sort of like impressionable innocent in that, more so than the other guys. Also, I've been watching some Vincent Price movies, and he's in the Vincent Price movie The Raven, which has a lot of old horror actors like Peter Lorre and Boris Karloff and stuff. And he's in there as a young man. That's like 1960 or 61, and he's like sort of the romantic ingenue. So it's interesting to see him back then, because this movie, I mean, first of all, he's phenomenal. He's so good.
Yes, he is so scary at all times, which is one of the things that Stephen King doesn't like about the movie.
Right.
He doesn't like that Jack Nicholson is very menacing and very scary from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say all the things that Stephen King doesn't like about the movie are in the book. Like the character was. He pulled Danny's arm out of the socket and did all these and he assaulted a kid at his job that got him fired, that made him have to go get this job at the Overlook in the first place. He did all this stuff in the book, and I think he was just as scary in the book. But I mentioned on Blue Sky that I would do a little bit of a psychological
I suspect I know what you might say is because, I actually, while I was watching the movie, and then when I read the comparisons before you get into it, I'll say that my assumption was always that in the book that Stephen King is like the character that represents Stephen King in the book would be Danny. That like he would see himself as Danny, and it would be about him processing abuse from his own father. But no, in fact, he saw himself as Jack.
He was Jack, and he saw his overcoming his addiction as Jack's overcoming the hotel at the end of the book. At the end of the book, Jack breaks free of the hold of the hotel and allows it to explode, killing himself and allowing his family to escape. He sacrifices himself, which is, I don't think that's in the movie necessarily. So That's a good point that is missing from the movie. But Stephen King did see himself as the Jack character, and I don't think he liked seeing the way he, other people saw him. I think that's what he didn't like about this movie, maybe a little more than the other things he says.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, well, and I also feel like to your point that all the stuff was in the book. I mean, and I think that a lot of the way that Jack Nicholson plays it is there's no doubt when you watch this movie, Jack Nicholson is gone from the beginning. Like, he is, like, even beyond saving from the very beginning. Somebody's, like, sitting in an office telling you, well, the last people who had this job, like, went crazy and killed their children. And you're like, oh, that's interesting, cool. And it's just, like, you're, like, not impacted by that. And so much of what the movie is then is him, like, almost seeking permission for the stuff he already wants to do, kind of, right? Like, the stuff that he's already, like, allowed himself to do, and just, like, creating. And it's part of why I really wanted to make sure that this was what we covered in the Ghost Story month, is because, I think a lot of what, thinking about, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't think that ghosts are real, but I feel like people believe in ghosts because they, like, they want to believe in, like, this darkness that is around us that we want to, and that is often based in things that are real, like a real dark history, or, Cinema Sin, that he's already crazy on the drive over. That's a Cinema Sin and not an intentional choice. But yeah, the drive over, he is super weird in the way that he's just, like, already answering questions. Yeah, he's crazy from the beginning, and it just, more so than, like, any other Jack Nicholson performance, that menace and that craziness is just, like, lives on his face. Like, he does great, like, full body physical acting when he's, like, lurching around with the axe in the maze at the end, or when he's playing wall ball, when he's throwing the tennis ball, against. He does some great full body stuff, or going up the stairs. But just the way that he holds a, like, look on his face, and just, like, the menace that he, like, it seems like he's doing so much, but actually there's, like, so much control at him doing just, like, the very most he can get away with, and just, like, no further. That's, like, such a tough thing to achieve in film acting.
Yeah, he's so coiled all the time. It's like he's always just ready to spring into action.
Yeah.
And, tear your throat out or whatever.
Yeah, I think the scariest...
Whatever the thing he's going to do. You don't... And that's the other thing. Like, he seems like a normal father and husband or whatever, but he's got all this menace in him. What is he going to do when he does whatever he does? You have no idea, because it's so strange that he's acting the way he is.
Yeah, the potential energy, and I'm like, how is it going to manifest? Yeah, totally. Yeah. To me, the scariest scene in the movie is the scene where Danny goes to visit him in his room, and he's, like, sitting on the bed, and you also see the reflection of him in the mirror, and that's, like, bracketing in Danny, like, Danny's in between those, like, the reflection of him and him, like, just trapped within that. And the way that Danny kind of, like, goes to have the conversation of, like, are you fully gone, Dad? And it's like, yes, you are. Like, for sure. And that is, like, again, like, that's the terror of the movie, is, being a child, like, and putting yourself in the mindset of a child, realizing that, like, oh, my father is a danger to me. Like, that is a real horrible thing to consider. Like, yeah, gruesome, like you said.
Yeah, that scene almost gave me Room 237 vibes of my own, because he pulls Danny in so close, and he's speaking so tenderly to him, but also with so much menace still. It's like, is Kubrick working in some implications here that I don't know about? Like, they weren't in the book necessarily, but who knows? It's a very interesting scene for sure.
Yeah, I mean, well, like, there's definitely stuff in the movie, like the unexplained bruises on Danny and stuff, and did he get them from the spirits, or did he get them from Jack? And but yeah, in that scene, like, sort of like what you're saying, like how he's being so sweet and so menacing, like, putting on the performance of a doting father, but what he is saying has so much menace in it. And the one that, like, is really chilling is when he says, I want you to like it here. I wish we could stay here forever. And it's immediately after that Danny responds, "You wouldn't hurt Mom and me, would you?" Because he knows what the implication of staying here forever is. He's already seen the girls, and he's seen their mutilated bodies. What a great child performance from Danny Lloyd. Also, I also think it's funny that they got an actor named Jack to play Jack and an actor named Danny to play Danny. But
yeah, and of course the very sweet story about how they kept him from knowing what the movie was about and things like that, which I think leads to an interesting performance as well, that he's acting the way he is. They must have like you are very scared in this scene. They must have let him know that there was scary stuff happening at some point. But
yeah, but I also feel like there's a way that you can make it a game for kids and kind of shelter them from that. And actually, it's contrary to we should talk a little bit about Dr. Sleep. How do you feel about Dr. Sleep?
Dr. Sleep is a pretty good movie, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's one of the more unnecessary sequels of the world. But it's an okay way to go about it if you had to.
Yeah, well, for me, the part of Dr. Sleep that I really hate is the part where they fucking kill the kid, and you hear his screams of Jacob Tremblay, and it's like, Jesus, that's fucked up to me, like, because there's no other way to kind of do that. And then granted, that kid is an experienced actor at that point, even as a younger person, but that really is a tough scene to get through, is when they kill Jacob Tremblay.
And it's especially rough considering like how like rinky dink their whole operation is. Like if Dracula bites your neck, well, that's one thing, but if like these dollar store guys are killing you, like that sucks.
Rebecca Hall and her stupid hat. I do love her in the movie, but she does have a very stupid hat, you have to admit.
Yeah.
But it also has that giant who's in the Twin Peaks giant who's also Lurch in the Addams Family. He shows up, and it's always fun to see him.
Yeah. It's more of a further adventures than a sequel, than a bigger, better story of the same sort of thing, like you usually think of with a sequel.
It's also like an interesting movie, if even maybe not universally successful for everyone, but it does a really like cool or just hard thing that it tries to do of like squaring the circle of being a sequel to both Shining the movie and Shining the book and the Dr. Sleep book, right? Because that was a Stephen King book as well, right? Dr. Sleep.
Yes. Yeah.
So like it's sort of honoring all of those at the same time, which is a kind of impossible task, but I think it's cool, and I think it's like Mike Flanagan really loves Stephen King, and so it's a labor of love there. You do get that feeling.
Yeah, and it's interesting to look at the first movie as being about addiction or alcoholism, and then the second movie as about sobriety and maintaining your sobriety. It's interesting. I mean, it's an interesting way to go about a sequel for sure. But as a sequel to one of the best movies ever made, it's like why do you have to do that?
Right. Well, I think that's why you don't want to just like think of it as just a straight The Shining sequel. It's like it's in the world. It's like another movie in the world. Don't try to think of it as a direct sequel to the movie, I think is best. I did have to also include the clips from Ready Player One.
Yes. If you think about it, this is kind of extended lore for Ready Player One. Right. So when you go to talk about Ready Player One, you'll make sure that they watch The Shining first.
Yeah.
Back to the Future and whatnot.
Did Dr. Sleep come after Ready Player One? So when they do Ready Player Two, they need to have Dr. Sleep in there, because there is a Ready Player Two book. So I'm assuming Steven Spielberg's hard at work on that. No, I don't think the movie did well enough. Thank God. Thank God. That's probably Steven Spielberg's worst movie, I think. It might even be worse than Crystal Skull.
There are apologists for that movie.
I know there are.
It is really, really bad. And it's going to be so nonsensical in 10 years even. The kids the kids today don't go back and watch stuff from the old times, guys. It's just not a thing that happens anymore.
No,
And this
it's
movie is gonna be like nothing.
It's like the writing of the original book and what the story is and stuff is just so much more about like Ernest Cline and his generation, which, you know, I'm close enough to that as
Yes.
well. Just arrested adolescence and just why, like, no, that's actually cool. It's actually cool that you're like that you like all the same stuff you liked when you were 15. Nah, it's cool, man. It's awesome.
Right. Yeah. What a way to be. What a way to be.
Well, anyway, let's get back to The Shining here.
Yes.
Scatman Crothers, let's talk. He's awesome in this movie too.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the way they do The Shining, how he talks to Danny.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
when
the
Danny,
scene
like,
with him and
contacts
Danny,
him and kinda-
such a good scene. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when he contacts Dick, when Danny contacts Dick to bring him to the Overlook, how he like kind of blows his mind with his crazy Shining.
Yeah.
That was cool as well. And also just anytime Scatman is like interacting with other people, it's always so cool. He's got such an easy way about him. He's a great actor.
Yeah, I'm gonna send. I made this the alert for subs, but I don't know if I'm gonna get any subs. But
yeah,
it's sped up there too a lot. But yeah, that look is it's great. I mean, I also do love the cut to him, and the production design of his bedroom as well, with like the titty ladies on the wall, the art and stuff is like just gives you such a good sense of him. Another thing I love is the cameo, the one scene of Tony Burton, who's an actor I really love from like the Rocky movies and lots of stuff. But he's the one that is in the if he dies, he dies gif in Rocky 4 where he goes, throw in the towel, throw the towel. That's him. He's Apollo Creed's like main trainer in the.
Okay.
I love the Rocky movies. Have you seen the Rocky movies?
I've seen several of the Rocky movies, but I haven't seen exhaustively.
I think there's only one that I would say is outright bad, and that's Rocky 5.
Okay.
Rocky 4 is also not good, but it's fun and funny.
Yeah.
Because that's the one
that's
that's
the
really...
one with the robot, right?
No, 5 has the robot, but 4 is the one that
that's
is
the bad
really jingoistic with Dolph Lundgren or whatever.
Yes,
and that's the one that just has ridiculous training montages in Russia and stuff, and it's crazy. But yeah, I love all the Rockies. Rocky 3 has Mr. T, is really fun in that. And I love Rocky 2. And the Rocky Balboa from 2006 is really good as well. But anyway, we're talking about The Shining. I don't know how another thing with Scatman Crothers actually was in another movie I watched this week for the first time, Greggy.
Okay.
Last weekend, I watched, because I had never actually seen it, but of course I'd heard a lot about specifically the making of this movie. I saw the Twilight Zone movie.
Oh, yes. Okay. Of course.
Which Scatman Crothers is in the second worst of the stories in the Twilight Zone movie, because of course the worst one is the one that killed people, which was the John Landis, which is also the only one of the stories in the Twilight Zone movie that isn't based on an actual Twilight Zone episode. That is an original story. So even if children and Vic Morrow hadn't been killed making the movie, it still is the most reprehensible thing I've ever seen, because the whole like thing of the story of this first movie that ended up killing 3 people, that John Landis wrote himself. He's not known as a writer, and for good reason. So John Landis wrote this story about a virulent, outright, open racist who's openly racist all the time, constantly, played by Vic Morrow, who then gets sent back in time to being a Jew in Nazi Germany, a black man in the Jim Crow South, and a Vietnamese person in Vietnam and during the war. And he is like transported like through time to between like each of these, and it's extremely stupid. It's like like Crash level of racial of racial commentary, like truly the worst stupid thing. And then people died making it.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
And they totally cut out
What
the
an
part
awful...
that like the reason that like I did like research into the stuff, and it's really, really fucked up. Like the fact that he didn't go to prison is insane. Like he didn't get a waiver to like actually have children. Like there weren't like you need to have like, you know, like a monitor or whatever, like the SAG rules for shooting with children. You're not supposed to shoot with children at night. And he like just went against all these things, and of course there was no safety in the stunt, and the whole reason that he wrote the children in is because the studio was like, this guy is like way too unlikable, he's like way too hateable, there needs to be some way that he's redeemed. So he was like last minute writing in a thing where he like saves these Vietnamese children, and that's how he tries to redeem himself. And yeah, instead they just ended up editing that out entirely from the movie. But anyway, that was interesting.
Oh my God.
The Joe Dante and George Miller parts of the Twilight Zone movie are pretty good, but the first two are so bad.
Really, yeah, there are parts of it with really interesting like creature effects and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like that cornfield one was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, even the good ones were not worth.
Certainly no.
Like obviously, but even I mean, it was not that good of a movie regardless. Even the good parts were not that
right.
great.
Well, also, so this is my theory then as to why. So Scatman Crothers is in the Steven Spielberg section, which is an adaptation of one of my least favorite Twilight Zone episodes called Kick the Can, which is about old folks home where the old people play kick the can at midnight and it like turns them young again or something. It's a really not a good episode to begin with. And my theory is that because Steven Spielberg did his whole part of the movie after everything with John Landis had gone down. And so Steven Spielberg's contracted, he has to do the movie, but I feel like he's like, I am going to like tank it on purpose. Like I am going to like, because he chose this story, like I'm going to do a story that's not even good to begin with, that is going to be extremely just so like over. I don't even know like how to like. It's treacly. It's so bad. Yeah. And Scatman Crothers is the magical black man at the center of it, basically.
Right.
And he's fine, but the story is so bad. Anyway, so when I, you know, a couple days after watched The Shining, I was like, it's good to see Scatman Crothers in a good movie. But he hated doing this movie too. That's the thing, is that like people all concentrate on how much of a bad time Shelley Duvall had. He said the same shit. Like he also hated having to do 120 takes and stuff like that. Like he was like like also kind of lost it at Kubrick at times over that, and afterwards was like, that was miserable, I hated it. Like, right. So you know, everybody had a bad time. As you know, this is a bad time movie, but it's a really good one.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's see, is there anything else that we have? Like, I mean, is there anything else? There's lots more to cover in the Shining. Is there any other stuff like in the book that or like that you want to get into about the differences in the book and in the movie?
Well, not necessarily difference. One thing that I've noticed that I thought was interesting was at the beginning of the movie, Jack wakes up out of bed and he's wearing a t-shirt that says Stovington across it. That's not mentioned in the movie really about his previous job before working at the Overlook. But he worked at this place called Stovington Prep, where he had a run-in with a student that ended up badly, and he ended up he beat a kid with a tire iron, basically.
So he's like actually like even more fucked up in the book, if anything. Like he's already like pretty messed up. And so maybe the reason that like Stephen King reacted so poorly to the movie or didn't like it so much is that it's like Stanley Kubrick like looked at the you know, this character in this situation and said, well, this guy's irredeemable. And and Stephen King's whole reason for writing the book is like, I can redeem myself even though I'm a violent alcoholic and I want to be better. And of course he's in recovery and he's no longer an addict, and I there's value certainly in trying to deal with your shit and or put it into your story to kind of break it down, and I hope that it helped him. And I get that obviously you love the book and it's still a great book, and people that love Stephen King. I don't think I've ever read a single Stephen King, if I'm being honest.
Well, a lot of them are really large, so that's that
is a
not
deterrent.
a problem really.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've read the child orgy in it.
Yeah, that's the bad part of it. I mean, it is a good book, but that is the bad part of it.
The cover of it, both the book and the TV movie at the in Blockbuster would scare me as a kid.
Yeah. He's a good writer at times, for sure. He's got his bad points at times as well. This one was one of his early books where he actually had editors and stuff. So if you're gonna read one, I think this is definitely a pretty good one to go for.
I mean, yeah, I really should, because I do want to see the different takes. Have you seen the Steven Weber and Rebecca De Mornay and Haley Joel Osment miniseries?
I did when it was new, when I was a kid. Like, I watched it on TV, but I haven't seen it since then. So
I've never seen it, but I just know that that's the one that's like slavishly accurate to the book. Like, it's like that's the main point of that miniseries. Book adaptations are interesting. I remember actually in high school when the first Harry Potter movie came out, and my friends and we were all in the play together, and we had it was like opening night of the play that night. We were doing a stage adaptation of The Sting, a movie. And we all went to see, we left school early, or we went right after school and saw the first showing of The Sorcerer's Stone. I remember one of my nerdy theater friends brought the book with him to read along, compare things. But what was wild in that experience was that so much of it, I was like, actually, this is how I pictured it. Oh, it's like doing all this stuff from the book and all these things. And now I'm like, that doesn't make it good though. And I think that there's such a trend towards we want to adapt the book as faithfully as possible. And I feel like you should focus first on making a good movie, which actually reminds me that I want to now read, is it Vineland? Is that the Thomas Pynchon novel that One Battle After Another is based on?
It could be. Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, I think that is, because that's a movie that it takes place in the 1980s in the book, but it's a book that PTA's been wanting to adapt basically his entire career. I mean, it's his dream project, and he made it not just modernized, but it feeling the most urgently modern, feeling like our times that I've ever seen in a movie, while still being just a completely wildly entertaining movie in its own right.
All right.
So that was the book. Yeah, this is the Shining, and I'm just thinking about One Battle After Another episode, so I'm really sorry about that. Oh, before we go, we do need to talk about I said the scores, because of course we have the genius Wendy Carlos, revolutionary score, one of the first big synthesizer kind of forward scores in a big way in horror. I mean, talk about an influential part of this movie. I think that just that alone on film scores and even music in general is really spectacular, and it does so much for the movie. And also Johnny Greenwood's score for One Battle After Another is sort of the same thing. And the reason that I'm comparing these movies, I'm talking about them, is not just because I just saw it last night, but I think that movie is it's the Shining level of a movie. It's a movie that's that's this time period. This is the movie that we're going to talk about it. But the score is everything in this movie. I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a scary score. It really sets the mood very well. And you know, at times the score will play scary music over scenes that aren't necessarily scary, and it gives the scene such a sense of dread. Like when Danny first sees those twins, there's still people all throughout the hotel. There's no reason to think that these twins are ghosts at
Mm-hmm.
this time, but it plays this scary music and he looks scared while he's looking at them, and so you understand that this is actually a scary situation. And I think that juxtaposition almost makes it more scary in a way.
You know what? It is funny that Haley Joel Osment plays Danny in the TV movie because he sees dead people.
That's true.
um, but yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of like pre-existing orchestral music and stuff that he's borrowing from and layering in there along with the original score. So it just creates such a specific atmosphere. I mean, the movie is so just like completely self-contained, like perfect, like beginning to end. I mean, just like when they did the playing it backwards on top of playing it forwards, I was like, well, of course that looks cool because just like the movie's so well shot and paced and stuff that like, yeah, that's gonna look awesome. And then sure enough, it did.
There are so many shots that look really beautiful, just for no reason, like when Jack Nicholson is kissing the ghost woman. You look around him at the frame, and there is so much in this frame, that you've got the scene off to the side, you've got a mirror off on this side that's showing what's behind him in the scene over here. There's just so much. It's so so well composited. I loved like when Danny is riding his Bigfoot or big wheel through the halls, and he runs over the wood, and that's
the
really
sound.
loud in your ears.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're like right
there.
in his head. You're in his head. Like you are where Danny is. You hear the loud wood in your ears, and then he goes over the rug and it goes quiet. That's awesome. That's something I really loved.
That must have been
well.
really fun for a kid to film. Just big wheeling around this big huge hotel.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, I do have my segment that I always do. I've gotten better at doing always, and it's called "If You Liked This, Try This." Where so if you like The Shining, which you did, right?
Yes.
People. I don't know if people like The Shining. Is it a popular film? I don't know. But if you like The Shining, I have some other recommendations for you. Starting with another movie that has already been discussed on this stream, but I have to. If we're talking about a movie that goes crazy along with the protagonist and the movie itself, what makes you question what you're seeing, insanity, there's nothing better. Cure, Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Cure, watch the movie, and then go watch my episode with DB.
There you go.
Great one. Then thinking of an old scary house or mansion, whatever you want to call it, resort in a secluded mountainous location. I really am a sucker for Guillermo del Toro's Crimson Peak. This is a little bit, some people don't like this one, but Abby and I really love it. Love just, if nothing else, the look of it, the art direction, the costumes. But also, I think it's a really fun ghost story as well in its own right.
Yeah. I didn't appreciate it at the time, but I wonder if I would like it more if I went back.
It's a great have it on movie and even pay half attention to it just because it looks so good. You'll just glance up at your TV and just be like, it looks great. I have to shout out, actually, again, a movie that's about an abusive man or a man grappling with the horror that he is capable of and has done, is Lost Highway by David Lynch. Great Bill Pullman, Patricia Arquette, sorry, wrong one. And also, I got to shout out Robert Blake in this movie is terrifying. Robert Blake, one of the most terrifying people in films. In film is Robert Blake in this movie. Yeah, Lost Highway, David Lynch. What else do you need to know? Also, like, it's the first time that I think that Trent Reznor made music for a movie, so it's kind of like an interesting step along him becoming a great film composer as well. And lastly, we're talking about some weird, unexplainable, unsettling visuals, and you know, what do even these things mean? I don't even know, but I'm really uncomfortable. David Cronenberg's Videodrome, you know, all of Cronenberg, but I think this is the one that is like, what even is it about? I don't know, but it makes me scared, and that's great. And you know, a lot of naked Debbie Harry in this, so that helps you as well. Yeah, awesome movie. Just like The Shining, of course. So that's, if you liked The Shining, try this.
The only movie I can think of that kind of gives me Shining vibes a little bit, the one that came to mind to me is When Evil Lurks. Have you seen that movie? When Evil Lurks. 2023. It's a Argentinian movie.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it was about a like possession. Like they get possessed by, I think, like a demon or something like that, and just the regular people acting in such bizarre, scary, unsettling ways, like Jack does in this movie. I think that's the comparison. And also, it's a movie just chock full of dread, and also it's very scary and violent. So watch out for that.
Well, you know what? It's the time for it of the year. I've like really loved spending time in these ghost stories and Spooktember. It's been really fucking awesome, and I do want to give a preview for what's to come next month on the Good Movie Chat About. We are doing Remake-tober. Every week, I will be watching at least 2 movies: a classic horror film and a classic remake of that horror film. Both have to be good. Both have to be really good. Okay. Starting next week, my guest will be returning to the stream, H.C. Justin, and the movies we will be discussing are funny games. Both Michael Haneke funny games. The original, is it German? And the American remake with Naomi Watts. So yeah, some other, like, you know, I'm actually looking forward to, I think one of the other movies I want to cover next month is The Thing, and watch The Thing from Another World, which I have not actually seen. I've only seen John Carpenter's. And yeah, there's some other stuff like that. Maybe some Draculas, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun month. And look forward to that, everybody. Greggy, you got the podcast. Anything else you'd like to plug before we wrap this up here?
Check out the Yes Michigan podcast. You can search for that wherever you find podcasts. Of course, the official Orville podcast is still technically ongoing. We do an episode every 6 months or so. But
can I say, I do love the Orville. Can we talk about the Orville for a second, actually?
Okay, you love the Orville. Okay, that's fine.
Well, no.
I don't like the Orville.
Love is too far. I enjoy a lot of the Orville. I will say, few episodes of television have made me more mad and upset than the season finale of the last episode, of the last season, which was so like just like overwrought and like overly like sweet in a way that was just, I hated.
Well, famously, we never watched the finales of any of the seasons.
That's really funny.
The show. So we haven't. I'm not familiar with that one yet. But.
I mean, I was just enough of a Star Trek nerd that I had to. Yes. It was during the pandemic too. I was like, I'm gonna watch the Orville.
And we decided we weren't gonna like it from the beginning. That was kind of the bit from the beginning. So
I mean, it is weird that it starts as like a joke. It's like doing a Galaxy Quest TV show, but then like halfway through being like, but actually we just like it. We just want to do a sincere Star Trek show. Yeah. And that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so the Orville and Yes Michigan. right?
Yes, Michigan. Yes, Michigan. When I was a kid, there was an ad campaign. Michigan's I can't think of the word.
Tourism?
When you want people to tourism, that's the word. Yes.
Well, because I know
tourism
Pure
board.
Michigan. I know Pure Michigan is the current
Yes,
one, right?
Pure Michigan is the new one. Yeah,
Mhm.
but there was when I was a kid, there was a very 80s Yes Michigan a theme that we're gonna use as our podcast
Oh, that's
name until
great.
we get told not to.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I hope everybody else checks it out as well. Thanks everybody for hanging around. Seriously could talk about The Shining for forever, but I'm afraid I'm going to just keep wanting to talk about one battle after another. So I'm going to spare Greggy that until at least he sees one battle after another, hopefully over the next week.
Right.
But Greggy, thank you so much for joining. Please come back anytime. Great time, everybody. And let's see. Who am I going to raid? Because everyone and their mother is streaming this weekend. Let me tell you about it. It is such a big streaming weekend. Actually, here we'll raid Justin. And everybody say, Justin, we can't wait to see you on the chat about next week. Until next time, everybody. We'll see you at the movies.
Bye, guys.
Toronto, Cannes, Berlin, and Sundance. Everybody chat about good movies. Chat about. Good movies, chat about. Good movies. Good movies.